Hey, I'm Franz, former head and neck anesthesia fellow here at Mount Sinai, current attending. We're going to be talking today about setting up our high-flow nasal cannula system. There's several stations with this located throughout the hospital. There's several of these in the A7 workroom, but there should be one on every major operating area, endo, Annenberg 6, and down on GP3. When you find it, it's going to look like this. Disposable components here, disposable tubing up here. As with most other airway equipment, it needs some source of oxygen to hook into. Pretty standard tubing here is going to go up to your wall mount. This connector tubing is going to be hanging here. I deconstructed this earlier, but it also comes with this basin for humidification inside this. Everything that you need to operate this machine should be on the machine when you find it. Come over here. This plugs into here under a little metal lip and locks in nicely. We can disconnect this at this point. This is where you're going to be adding your fluid for humidification. We've got sterile water, regular IV tubing. It plugs in right here. We'll open it up and we're going to start filling this basin. It has a clearly indicated 180 ml fill line. Do not overfill this, compromise the integrity of the machine. While that's filling, we're going to work on our tubing here. There's two different tubings that come in this. One is a small tubing, short, connects your flow regulator down to your humidification here. The much longer tubing connects the humidifier. Ultimately to the patient over here with an additional attachment. And the last thing you're going to want to do is plug in your temperature monitor here into the back of this. All right, that's your basic setup. Very good. Coming back to the front, you'll see we have two buttons here. Simple power button, which turns the machine on. You know that it's on with this green activation light in the back, and then temperature, 3 levels of temperature here. Next, to connect this to a patient, got another disposable here. Pulls out. Very self-explanatorily fits in to your oxygen tubing on one side, and then has a nasal cannula ending for your patient on the other side. Additionally, you'll notice a short little tubing here. This is your end-tidal CO2 monitoring. So on one side you have a lure lock that'll obviously connect to your ventilator. On the other side you have this adjustable tubing, allows you to kind of direct it towards wherever you think the patient may be breathing from. If they're nose breathing, you can put it up a little more here. Mouth breathing like this. How this fits on. You come over, direct it towards your mouth, and now you've got a nasal cannula set up, and you can adjust with the oxygen here. When you use this, please always use the humidifier, fill it up. Turning this to 70 liters with no fluid in here is very, very cold, and it becomes very uncomfortable quickly. Number of different applications for this, from your PACU patient that's getting a little hypoxic but is still alert and doesn't look like they're in much respiratory stress. You can use it to increase the apneic period for anybody who you think has compromised FRC. And finally, you can do this almost as a substitute for jet ventilation during apneic procedures. As the flows on this increase, you start to get a pressure component associated with it, and that allows you to drive oxygen into the lungs and perform apneic ventilation. And that's it.